same width, a little bit skinnier maybe. I'll get the specifics from when he makes a final decision. And then we'll find a contractor to build it for us, do the footings, but, that and a farmer's manager, market manager, is not going as well either. And, sometimes you just gotta let somebody go and say, okay, I gave him plenty of warning. And that is a hard position to fill, and he's finding out that's a very hard position to fill.
Tara.
What's that?
Tara.
Might be. He's gotta get going, cause we gotta get, I mean, now's the time to get your vendors lined up.
Yeah.
Do you know if the
So-
one, I mean, I had if the one who handles a lot of the ones in Denver even saw the RFP or responded? If not, we should, I don't know.
He had
should we
he had two legitimate responses at both of those. A Denver farmer's market.
Yeah, I mean, she handles them all, I mean, from Arvada to Evergreen to all
Well,
those.
the one that they have in Fort Collins over there, you know, by First Bank and,
Yeah, yeah.
is a
it's-
huge one. I mean, it's huge. I don't
Right.
know who heads it up or who you get with on that.
I did know one time, I can't remember now.
Yeah, we may have to
So,
find who's
you have to do
managing
some
some of these
direct-
other ones
do
and
it
go
direct
after
back,
them
yeah.
to see if they'll.
I thought he did, but.
And if it's Thursday night, it doesn't conflict with a lot
Or
of.
Saturday morning,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't have anything positive on that note yet, because I don't have any answers.
Hey Kelly, back to this thing, do you think Wade could maybe come back and let us know what happened? Nothing,
Yeah,
like a paragraph maybe, just
Yep.
kind of what happened? and-
yep,
Yeah. Then he can decide if it was worth his time,
yep.
worth the town's time.
Well, and if nothing else, tells you what they're up to too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be good to help with,
Yeah.
understand that.
I don't wanna put like a homework assignment, but just
No,
a
well, I
little,
do.
a little
Well,
recap. of
well,
what-
it's our time and money that's going out there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and I'm not opposed to it at all, but just
Yeah,
curious.
it's a good idea.
what
No,
they're doing.
It's a really good idea.
Willing to do it.
I know you would.
It's a good
The
idea.
best case would be if he found some resources that we're not aware of,
I mean,
for trails or other improvement or parks or whatever, so. Do a little scavenger hunt, find us something.
Changing topics, ready? Today we met with, Martin Lynn's representatives, attorney and his commercial development arm, about what is being called Brands East. So, anyway, I did learn something today. So the Brands is across the street to the west of Windsor. Brands West is adjacent to the airport.
Across the freeway,
So across, I guess I just thought, I thought there's only a west and east, I did not know there is an airport land component to this too. So he has a master incentive agreement now with the City of Logan for Brands West and Brands, in which, if you haven't been tracking that, it's up to a 2% sales tax shareback with a anchor retailer that will generate, it's either 50,000 square feet or generate so many $1 million in revenue, a lot. And then it goes down to what is called a junior anchor, which gets a little bit less sales tax share back. Also waiving permit fees to some level, probably most of them, it sound like, on anything comes in. And what he would like to be able to do is have us consider a similar type of agreement for Brands East, which is in Windsor. And the reason because he has now an individual, and he obviously has lots of interest in this, and would like to be able to just uniformly say, wherever you go, pick a spot, and you get the same deal, no matter if it's in Windsor or by the airport or in the middle of Brands, you can get the same spot, same deal. You'd like to move this along pretty quickly? Sorry. So today we identified potentially some issues that we need to resolve on our side. Like we already have a metro district on our side in place, You also already did a incentive for the summit, and you built a street in there, road in there. That has been paid off, but it did include the summit and the hard corner on Crossroads and,
Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds. So, you know, does that, you know, one of the discussion points you're gonna wanna consider when you see this is that relevant or not now? Because obviously he's gonna probably wanna say, let's make that the same now. We don't have roads in place, lines in place, so the question, know that upfront, necessarily too much of an issue. Week and a half or so, we're gonna use these questions we've got going on, that to see how, what Loveland said, oh, now we have an overlay district, which is interesting. Laid out in there. And overlay allows it to review.
For positioning, because he can even better incentivize on the Windsor side.
What's the
Right.
veterans,
Don't know.
Well, there would, because he, yeah.
I don't know what he's, I don't know what, I think he's asked for the same, so I don't know what he could do more, but.
okay, what he's asking for is for us to mirror
Yes,
the incentives that Loveland
Yes.
did, I'm assuming proportionally
yes.
to the estimated revenue, which will be significantly less. I would assume.
I don't know if there's a proportion, I think it's proportionate to what the retailer is gonna generate.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
proportion to the revenue.
Is that sales tax incentive finally, or is it just kind of go on like the 2% for the major anchor? How many
Yeah,
years?
has a drop, has a 2040 something, they said today?
25-year sunset?
25 years,
25
right?
years, yeah.
25 years,
Yeah.
crap.
20 or 25 years.
Yeah.
And do they have the same rate, sorry Ken, as us?
No, what will happen is, we'll make it so by a public improvement fee, that they'll backfill
Hmm.
through the collections on our side. Is that kinda how you got that, Ian? Is how it was
Yeah.
described?
We, instead of collecting and reimbursing, we waive a portion of the sales tax, and then they self-impose a PIF, either a project improvement fee or a public improvement fee, in the same percentage,
Right.
so that at the point of sale, the customer pays the same
Right.
assessment, except that PIF goes to the developer or the metro district to support bond financing through the bond
That's
markets.
exactly how Centerra does it.
Right.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
So they're asking for there's two levels of ask here. One is, you're talking about 3 hotels. So I thought what they were
That's
asking.
done.
That one probably would be a set aside and be different,
Okay,
because it'll be property specific to that
Okay.
property.
okay,
So they'll show us a map, to ask them for a map.
okay.
They're gonna show us a map of what they are talking about, because they have it all, today we saw the whole outline of the whole area. They own all the way, so, that is Crooked Stick or Aludar.
Yeah,
They own all the way back up to Highland Meadows Parkway.
okay.
So then on Highland Meadows Parkway, it's probably not gonna be included in this, because they are probably gonna be seeking a rezoning of part of that for multifamily.
That's nice.
To the west, across the street from the residential on Highland Meadows, and then some storage units up against the industrial area of Windsor, on the south side of that land. And then as you move further west, around the point of the National Guard, or the it's not the National Guard, but the Army Readiness Center, that west will probably be where the property we're talking about, all the way up to.
Is that Arroyo in there, or is not?
So along Highland Meadows Parkway?
No, kind of behind the Army Readiness. Kind of goes from
Yeah,
Fairgrounds east.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know if
Yeah, it has,
means anything, or just,
he's got to avoid that to some level.
Okay.
And then that area, particularly that area right adjacent to Highland Meadows Parkway, to the south of the area I just described, there's a big one down there. That's gonna be the storm retention area for the entire everything. And I asked him about that, because he's gonna bring all the stormwater over from Loveland side and the Windsor side, and potentially some from the north into that area, about 7 acres. It's probably undevelopable now,
Yeah,
probably makes some sense to make it developable into a storm retention area, but it's gonna carry a bunch of water in that area right there that's gonna be carried over.
does
from-
he have to pay, or do we get, it goes into our stormwater system?
Yeah.
Is there any, if it's coming from Loveland or anywhere?
Yeah, I asked him to, we need to think about this whole stormwater thing a little bit,
Yeah.
because it's coming, he is bringing over a lot of water from.
Yeah, I don't mind
west.
conveying stormwater, obviously,
Yeah.
but if we're taking it from other developments that don't have to pump up their system like we would have to.
And isn't there a lot, I mean, I had a question actually in our budget, because I think there's like $100,000 fee for the nutrients, or is that related to?
We're gonna actually, we're gonna study our current existing stormwater plan and come up with a new fee
Okay.
structure.
So I mean, again, if we take that, doesn't that take us on for more financial risk potential, I mean, not risk, but more financial burden like that, taking on that as well? That we just have
Before I
to-
answer that question, I wanna connect the dots a little bit more in my head, because I'm not certain off the top of my head if I can answer that one.
And is that, what was in our budget, was that for the year? or-
No, it's gonna be.
That's a
it's
quarterly
It's
thing?
gonna, we're gonna review that, no, we're gonna what I'm thinking about, I'm not sure if it's the same thing you are, but
Well,
we have money in our budget to look at our stormwater management.
No,
plan.
it's not the, it was in the report of
The
bills.
nutrient,
There was $100,000.
oh, that's the grant that we use to make improvements in the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay,
our
that's not the
nutrients, stormwater.
nutrient, I don't know if we have to do that quarterly, that nutrient. Oh, let me find it,
Yeah,
and then I can.
yeah. I think it's the improvements that we're making at the wastewater treatment plant,
Okay,
the physical improvements. to
Okay.
it.
Kelly, is that,
You said overlay, are you talking about like an overlay over an existing zoning or over like a PUD, that type of, like a use by
Yes.
right type of overlay?
Yes, so design standards, height,
Like rain dance.
like rain dance, we already have that on this area, so the hotel that you approved should meet the design standards in our overlay district for this. We adopted them and put them on that, I-25 corridor standards. So anything commercial adjacent to, remember that whole discussion we had with booth and everything?
Yeah,
We did the same thing over on Martin's Land, has that overlay.
so when.
Loveland never adopted it though.
Okay, I just wanna, when I think of that, I'm thinking of an actual kind of long-term temporary use being allowed in an area that actually could expire then at some point.
No, it talks more about, an overlay means different, more specific design criteria to
Okay.
the building style, the heights, all those things. So that's what it means by an overlay. It has the criteria that how it's gonna be
Okay.
developed,
Permanent.
designed, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and I just pulled up his email, so he said that he can make better land deals on our side because their basis is lower.
Well, they already got signage up for Grand Z stuff.
So that's what he says, so that's why he doesn't want, he wants Windsor to have the same benefits, but I think what he's saying by that is, Windsor might have an edge if he gets some folks, because he can make some better deals, I don't know.
because of land price?
That's what he says here, make better land deals as our basis is way lower.
Basis, oh, the cost basis. of mine.
But the initial cost basis. We'd be equal then as they come in if we
Right.
would agree to these other things, but
Okay.
Would it be okay to have a joint meeting with Loveland Council about this? Or,
I asked them if they know that he's talking to us, they said yes. So they advised Loveland, they're doing the same thing over here, because they do want continuity, so they've made it known to Loveland. I have not checked in
What
with
if they
them to
knew
verify.
before or after the vote?
Yeah. I don't know, what would be the benefit?
What?
What would be the benefit of meeting with Loveland, is my question.
I mean, maybe just, I don't know, just to verify information that they receive versus, or, and their interpretation of that.
Yeah. I intend to do that, if you all want to.
Maybe that's better left at a management level,
Yes.
but.
Yeah, for now, I think let me do that work and verify everything that's being said and done. But it's all been public, you can go out there and look at every document there is.
Yeah.
and what they adopted and what they did, and so.
I thought they went into executive session to discuss the particular, to actually get the presentation of that,
They might have, I'll clarify,
but
yeah,
it'd just be,
they could have. So anyway, more importantly, I wanna let you know it's cooking. And that I've kind of circled February sixth, which is the CRC expansion final report, as kind of a target date for either something getting in front of you to start talking about this.
Kelly, I was trying to get some paper to write some notes, but what'd you say, 2% roads, and didn't you say one more?
No, as far as the incentive or the issues,
Yeah, incentive.
the roads are not the incentive. Roads
Okay.
are an issue,
Well, then
because
maybe-
they're not
well,
built
maybe
on
you
our.
were talking just about issues,
Yeah,
and you said,
yeah. The level of incentives is either 2% for the big guys or 1.5% share back in sales tax.
okay, and
But
then,
the issues are, the existing incentive agreement you have already, or agreements, because you actually have the hotel. That's a good reminder, we need to make sure we capture both those and talk to you about them and what they mean. The infrastructure in place, because this does not have the infrastructure in place as it does over the west side. So that's roads, water, sewer, and that may be why.
okay,
land might-
roads, water, and sewer, that was one.
Yeah.
It could be volume, that's cheap.
It could be part of it, could have bought it cheaper too. The size is something we wanna talk about, what it incorporates. And then kinda how this overlay district, they are certainly gonna push for trying to get administrative approval once they get everything done, versus having to come through you and get some sort of approval through either planning commission, or I guess that's who does site plan reviews now, right? Do we do all site plan approvals administratively? I think we do,
Except for multifamily.
yeah, so,
Multifamily is still decided by the time.
I'll be curious to see if they have exceptions.
But if they're talking about doing a PUD overlay for our side, that would be something that you decide, just like you did with Rain Dance. It was basically a rezone. And rezonings are quasi judicial, and so you're gonna have to kinda confine your exploration of this, at least now, into the financial side of it, the incentive side. But as far as what becomes of it in terms of the land use decisions, that's kind of where you gotta not receive too much information.
Kelly, you were saying that they have a PIF.
They will then also, that's.
They will.
Yeah,
Okay, so Loveland's base sales tax is 3%, correct?
and ours is 3.9,
Yeah. So,
3.95. So they.
so if they're doing a 2% share back,
Yeah,
our share back is gonna be larger than.
no, we'll keep it the same share back.
No,
Go
by
back, go back
next,
to, yeah,
2% of 3.9 is. Because,
I don't think it's gonna be the same proportion.
I
I
can't.
think it's just gonna be a flat 2% on each side.
right,
right, I still see my brain not processing that correctly. Because
Don't look at me.
we collect a larger percentage of sales tax at
Yes.
3.9%, a higher percentage, 2% of a higher percentage, or
Yeah.
a higher amount,
Right.
is gonna be a larger amount.
We're not giving back 2% of the sales tax collected.
What is it then?
we are.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna get that.
No,
2%, not 2% of the, we're gonna get 2% of the transaction,
Sale price.
not the sales tax collected. We're giving that,
Right.
we're giving back almost 100% of the sales tax collected, not 2%.
We're letting go of 2% of, they are letting go of 2% of their 3% rate applied to the transactions. So they are taxing the transactions at the cash register at 1% that goes
Local.
to the city of Loveland. And 2% goes in the form of a PIF
oh,
to the.
Yes.
okay, so it's not
developer.
2% of the revenue, it's 2% of the rate.
It's the rate that
Okay.
So it's
gets.
2/3 on their side, it's 2/3.
So ours would be 1.95 at the register,
Yeah,
and 2,
well, technically, yeah, okay, for our tax, but the consumer still gets the full
Right.
rate of it.
right,
Yeah, the consumer
Thank you.
pays the same percentage at the cash register, it just doesn't all go to the city.
Right.
In their example.
It's split.
well, that's how Solterra works. Otherwise, nobody would shop out there.
And then the other news I wanna make sure that you know is that we are working on Tom Booth, getting his, development back on track in front of you. He did give us his feasibility study, which, he did to try and support residential being a part of that, and how that would drive retail, to that area. And there's been a review of that by the two economic development people, Windsor and Fort Collins are writing a report to Fort Collins, city manager, myself, what it says, what it means, and if it's supports it or not, and I'm gonna read it to myself. But with that, he has worked on the transportation, the access points, and it seems to be working out well. And there seems to be capacity for sewer. If that all works out, then what we've talked to Fort Collins about is that sometime as early as February, we'd probably report out to yourself, the results of that, and that they're ready to get going. And then we would have them we'd have them run it through both our planning commissions, the IGA amendment, and then ultimately to you for a recommendation for the amendment, if you like everything, and then give it to Fort Collins and amend the IGA so that he can get started if we're interested in that.
So Fort Collins is willing to accept the residential, or you?
If it is all supported by transportation, infrastructure for sewer, and the economic development says this is the reason why you should do it.
Which remains to be seen
Yes.
till we
Yes.
get their feedback.
Now, I think it's further remained to be, I think that further got answered if you read the article and saw what's going on down at the next interchange, Prospect. So Prospect is about ready to be improved in the next year as part of this widening of I-25, and Tim and Fort Collins are putting money into that interchange also, as are landowners in and around the interchange are gonna put money towards that effort. And one of the big developments in that is going to be a very similar type of prospect and proposal that Mr. Muth is proposing, which is residential with mixed-use commercial. Exactly, almost if you read it and you see it, it emulates what he's proposed to you, is try and get some get some residential to build it. So they are bringing forth, those landowners are actually bringing money to the table to help get the interchange widened this year with the CDOT project. So to me, there is a race going on, right? And we're in the middle of the race of everything and all these ideas and prospects. And the question to us is, do we stay in the race or what are we doing? And that's probably your first quarter of 2017 homework. You get the answer is, where is our place in that race on the I-25 corridor, I think, is happening right now.
And has he, in the, feels like year and a half time, found a commercial developer or a retail developer? We don't know, maybe?
I don't think he has.
Seems like a lot of time to find one.
I don't think he has interest until he knows he can do
Right.
something. That's how Tom kind of works until he has
It'd
a
just be
certain.
nice to come with something like, hey, I've talked to this retail developer and he's on board with this concept of my residential.
But if Timnath and Fort Collins are gonna approve a mixed, why would they,
Mhm. That's
What would-
Tom's criticism.
what would be their condition,
Why-
to
yeah.
say why they would approve ours?
Right.
Yes.
If they're gonna approve one with Timnath?
Correct. I can't, do you guys remember which side that's gonna be the residential? Is it on the Tiverton side or the Fort Collins side? Can't remember, I have to go read the article.
It's northwest,
North?
Northwest.
the Fort Collins.
So it's Fort Collins side.
That's what
That's
they,
what I thought.
New High School's gonna be on the east side in Timber.
But that's a natural transition to residential there, based on just a little further west from there. Our interchange is much better geographically, I think. So I don't know, there's a reason that Prospect interchange is never developed. It's just a tough area. And anything west of the freeway there is,
Isn't the Welcome Center there?
no.
On the southwest.
Yeah, southwest, so that's
Southwest.
one quadrant that's pretty much
Mhm.
undeveloped.
Right.
and we'll have to do some incentives to make sure that works out okay.
Let's see, we have a current board at 6:45, you want me done, if you want to, or we can do it after the meeting. I did let you know the water treatment plant effort's going on, the study is going on, and if you had any questions from my memo on that on Friday, let me know, but what will be is the purveyor of the contract with Black and Beach Engineer. We'll do a letter of interest, I'll bring that to you, make sure you see that, you're okay with it. And then 4 parties will pay their equal share to that, and we'll get started on that and have that done this year, so that is still moving along. We all think, that a certain district is missing a boat, but, they're very short-sighted right now, and we'll figure it out without them, and then we'll figure out their role if they have one with us in the future, so.
What project is that?
The regional water treatment
Oh, yeah.
plant facility.
So Kelly, I have a question. When we did our NISP tour
Yes.
that I went on,
Uh-huh,
we were going north on one of
Was
these
there?
county roads, and he said, kind of right there at the
yeah,
top, he said, this is where water treatment would be.
ideal, Carl said that, yeah.
Is that the same as what
That's
we're
what we're
looking
talking
at?
about, that's,
Okay, I didn't know.
yeah, he did that
If
with
there's
us.
something else going on?
Yes, that's us,
Okay, got
As I recall, they said that was because of the gravity
yes,
aspect.
it. Yeah, no, I remember all that. I didn't know
Yeah.
which, if that was something
that's
NISP.
us.
Other people were.
No, that's us.
Okay.
So we're prepared to move forward, because we had that
Yes.
money, enough money in the
Yes.
budget.
Helps us
Yes.
all.
That's all I have.
I had a question about, something on the consent calendar concerning the library. Were you at the appointments?
I was.
Were you at the
I
interviews?
was,
Yeah, Ivan and I were.
Was it, how many candidates did they have, or did they just
3.
have? So you appointed 2 out of the 3?
we appointed 2, and 2 of them were former members,
Right.
very good members, very strong members. There's absolutely no question about the 2 that we selected.
Do we appoint?
And they're good people.
No,
No,
but
we
we're part of,
recommend.
we're part of the
We were
committee, that
part of
there's
the-
like,
Okay.
what,
That's
2
what I
other
thought.
folks are in
We just
the
There was
interviewed,
4.
library.
You were part of the interview.
and we were
Person.
part of
There,
the,
yeah.
part of the recommendation.
School district?
School districts
School
there,
district.
they had 2 people there.
And
Okay.
Severance had 2 people there,
Yeah.
Okay,
And who else?
and Ann Kling was only there to answer questions.
That's right.
But the interview process was well done, but there was no question in any of our minds, right?
Yeah, I thought.
Was the 3rd person a new party trying to get on
Yeah.
board?
And she would be good, and they would like to, she's from Severance, but they would, keep her in mind for some jobs, even in Severance, to get her involved so that she knows more about it. She wasn't as knowledgeable, and it was, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, well, I just wondered, because I know that the board, had made some, I don't know if it was a statement but they said they were not going to allow any new people onto their board until they got the initiative in
Didn't
place
they changed
for
their
the
bylaws?
new, they were gonna change the bylaws.
Right.
Have they done it yet?
I don't know,
Yeah,
did
they did.
they did change their
They
bylaws.
changed their bylaws.
That's a, that's a.
So then why would
Yeah.
we even
I'm not okay
consider this other person if they weren't gonna,
For the record.
I mean, if the bylaws were changed, they weren't gonna allow her on, or him
there
on
was,
anyway.
it said something when the project gets started or the construction, right?
Well, they have a lot of caveats in there about the completion of the project, and the
Right.
definition of that was what was up for debate,
Right.
is when is this project actually complete?
So these 2 probably, if everything went to their way, could be on through the time they build or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Right, but I mean,
I mean,
again,
yeah,
that's,
How is that
they
defined?
are creating.
no, I'm not arguing,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing for or against, I'm just
They're- yeah.
saying that's what
So
these
I'm
2
just-
probably.
Aren't you gonna stay until NISP is complete?
Oh, we can change the bylaws, charters?
Change the
Yeah,
bylaws.
that'll go.
2027.
Barely for the next 20
Just so you all know,
Sure.
Christian had a meeting that night, and so I filled in for him. And I think that was voted on.
but you raise a good point, though, why do they have that? If-
Because they have, I think, wasn't the caveat has to be approved and started,
And the
and they haven't had
bylaws,
that approved yet.
Oh.
Because the vote.
Yeah,
Isn't gonna
right,
vote.
yeah.
Well, and,
You're right.
yeah, it was done for a purpose.
Right.
I I don't know, I think was
Did they define the scope of
questionable at
construction?
best, at best.
At best, yeah.
Yeah.
What if you're just remodeling a room?
And which project is?
So they
it?
just went through the
Project.
process to go through the process.
It's a capital.
They didn't- yeah.
capital Project.
We
I
know
don't
we
know.
got
Because they
two
were-
conversations
Project could
going on
be,
here.
there could be one every year.
Could be.
Could be.
But, you know, bylaws also say they do have to solicit interest. You know, if they, when we did that big bylaws
Yeah.
change to get us to the committee model.
But basically, it's a work around their term limits. I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't wanna have term limits anymore, just get rid of term limits. Then,
That's what they,
because that's
I
less
don't think they
popular.
have term limits.
They do.
they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it really is,
Yeah.
you and I all see it that way. They philosophically, and I can tell you philosophically, they are different than
They are.
what we are.
Yes,
They're still.
And, no, but they see it as a continuity of a project. They didn't wanna change with the bylaw change, very much before, don't change horses in midstream.
As long as they're a representative body, though.
I understand.
And you
It's,
guys.
it's like Congress saying, sorry, you can't get rid of us until the war in Iraq's done, you know?
They're not
Pretty
elected,
much, pretty much.
but they're not elected, maybe that's their.
But they affect, I mean, they're appointed, they're still an appointed board by a representative body. I don't know.
It's,
I just wondered, because when I saw that, I was like, are these the only two who, because
Well, the library.
I recognized who was appointed, who had already been on the board, so I didn't know if there was any other applicants or not. Apparently there was, but
They
it still didn't
posted
count.
and posted and posted for that. I mean, I think they went through their due diligence to publicize it. And if only 3 people apply to be on it, I mean, what else can you do?
Right,
someday she will be a good worker in this community, but the gal that didn't.
Well, I'll get off my philosophical soapbox.
no, it's,
It's a good point, it's an interesting
You
way
bring
to do
that
it.
up.
it's,
You bring
It's an
that
interesting way to
up.
do it.
Oh, no,
it
because
actually goes to
I don't wanna be
legislation.
it would have been a good time.
and we no longer have to see their budget?
No, they do
What were you saying,
present their
It goes
budget.
to legislation,
Yeah.
library district.
They just did that.
Yeah.
But we just put
Before
it
the
in
end of the
a
year.
consent
They're not
calendar.
voting.
Yeah.
We used to
They're
have
they're not
to,
voting.
where there was
Oh.
something we actually
Well,
had
yeah,
to
but
do,
they're
but
still-
they,
Yeah.
we got rid of that because we couldn't always, I can't remember what it was. Remember
I remember going to it in the past.
we
but I
had,
never-
yeah, yeah.
we were
But
having-
because of scheduling, they eliminated us. We no longer have to be present at that or something.
That's right.
It just comes as a consent calendar item, more so to speak.
It's presented to you.
Mhm.
And by consent,
Accept it.
we are approving it, are we?
You're accepting.
We don't even have to
Accepting.
approve
We
it.
don't have
It's
to.
their
It's
budget.
their
That's what I mean, we're accepting it though by the consent calendar.
Do we have
That committee is a
any,
different group.
do we have any authority over the library board at all?
No statute, so you have,
anything
you are
there?
part of what this process is, your one chance to be a part of the appointment process.
Yeah.
But by statute, they are not elected, appointed board by representative groups, school board, and any municipality within that district, so it's Severance and yourself. And that's the bodies by statute who make the appointment to a taxing district.
So taxing district, and then we have no authority over their budgets.
That's correct.
Not
We
really.
don't have to approve.
I guess we don't have to approve it, but I don't know that anything
It's
would
just-
happen.
You
if
can
we
make
didn't.
hay with it and
We
raise
refuse to accept
revenues.
your budget.
It would go on.
What happens when
You
you say
still
it's
go
their
on.
budget? So
It's their money.
what happens if one of them says, I don't accept it?
I'm not sure it changes.
Like
if
the
they
Life
adopted a
goes
budget.
on. Different chapter.
Well, and to be fair, the 2 people who were reappointed in that process were the best candidates. The issue is that it's a double standard,
Mhm.
and it's made for one very specific group of people who, for one project, let's be serious, there's one project that they're interested in having that for.
Maybe steering committee or
Well,
something.
I would
Yeah.
take that comment one step
So you
further.
like King George?
What's that?
I had some. I had to state.
Do we have anything else? we have time to go upstairs and do the Kern?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go upstairs, we can do that. And tonight, after our meeting, tonight Sean Ash is resigning, and leaving the school board. And so tonight will be his last night as part of the school board, and he has served on the school board for 10 years. So for those who are interested, when their board meeting is done, they're going to have a little get-together at the Legion, and we're invited if we would like to go and say our goodbyes to Sean and thank yous.
I wrote down to send you an email about the sculpture, so we can, all I need.
Yep, and I'll
I just
call
need somebody from
Cindy,
somebody.
I'll
says
call
we
their
got it.
treasurer
Yeah, that's
and
right.
have them do it.
Okay, perfect.
What is
We don't need these